Hello. I know this video may be quite long compared to the average TikTok video, but I strongly encourage you to watch all of this video about the difficult emotions and the levels of them, because if you were to do the emotional resolution tools, the guided meditations I'm about to make and do these videos with you, one of the things that will make it not effective, it'll be not effective for you if there's a lot of doubt, if there's a lot of questioning, if there's a lot of skepticism. You need to feel safe when watching these videos and doing these tools. And so I strongly encourage you to watch this so you understand why the guided meditation is designed the way it is. First, let me say, no emotions are good or bad. That's not what I'm trying to say. No emotions are good or bad. They're just emotions that the mind likes to feel and pulls toward itself, like happiness, joy, love, and peace. Then there's emotions that the mind misunderstands what it's supposed to do and pushes them away, avoids them, tries to cut them out. Mostly what it ends up doing is pushing it down and saving it, for later on. It's going to come back later, but it doesn't realize that. Okay, so what this is the hierarchy and levels of difficult emotions. So we found that the difficult emotions the mind doesn't like comes in levels, hierarchy. And so the analogy that I use is a weed, as you can see here by this little sad drawing that I made of a Canada thistle. So there are emotions that are on the surface that people can see, but there's a lot more underneath the ground. So when I work with people and I ask them, what emotions would you like to resolve to help your life move forward, to help with this relationship move forward, or whatever topic they've brought to me, they usually say one of two things: anxiety or fear, or anger and frustration. One of those two all the time. And what I tell them is what I just told you. That's only on the surface. I encourage you to go underneath all of that. We can work on resolving your anxieties or your frustrations, but that's like pulling out a weed by the stem. It's just going to grow back somewhere else, or in the same spot, because you didn't get to what's underneath. Okay? And there's a lot more emotions underneath that the mind actually really doesn't want you to feel. One person once said to me, "What do you mean by that? Anger and fear are some of the worst feeling emotions ever. Strong anxiety and strong anger like that. What do you mean by that?" And I told her, well, it is sort of reversed. I have to admit, anger and anxiety are what I call empowering difficult emotions. Because when you feel them in the body, they are so uncomfortable that it makes the body jump into action. Right? So I'm pretty sure some of you are even looking for videos like this, going into action like this, because you have an anxiety, because you have a frustration, right? And so that keeps the body moving. That keeps the body trying to solve the problem. That's what the mind wants. Why is that? Because the mind, remember, is part of the brain, which is the learning onboard computer of your body. And the brain helps the body to survive and thrive. How does it do that? By solving problems. Okay, that's what it knows how to do. But the mind does not really know how to resolve the difficult emotions. It doesn't know how to resolve them. It misunderstands what it's supposed to do. It just has to feel it. But it misunderstands that, feels terrible, makes a judgment, and pushes it down usually. So there's emotions right underneath the surface. They come in 3 levels. This is the top level. Then there's the secondary level right here. As you can see, now we're getting into the emotions that the mind does not want your energy to drop down into here. Guilt, shame, loneliness, sadness, depression, and grief. Why is that? Because what happens when a person's focus goes down there and they start wallowing in that? Usually the person just sort of sits there, right? They just sort of sit there, feeling it, wallowing in it. Sometimes they'll stay in bed for days. Maybe you've seen this, or maybe this has happened to you. So the mind doesn't want you to drop down in here. It wants to keep you up here where you're more energetic in trying to solve the problem. Because again, it doesn't know what to do. Okay, so as you're thinking, as bad as that is, and I should say that if these feelings are ongoing like this and really, really intense, it may indicate that it would be worthwhile considering a mental health assessment, that your brain is basically designed that way. It's not broken, it's not wrong, it's just designed in a certain way to feel very intense emotions very sharply. Okay, so as as much as you may be thinking, wow, that's not good, there is the third level, what I call the core root emotions. This is the area where the mind really doesn't want you to go. So much so that I've worked with people in which it's clear that they have one of these core emotions. So let's go over the core emotions. Self-loathing, or the energy of not liking yourself, the energy of I'm not enough. When felt really intensely, it becomes self-hatred. The hopeless despair that life is meaningless, that you work all your life towards something or toward a relationship and put your time and energy into it, but it can change or be taken away. It can make a person think, life is just meaningless. Then there's overwhelming sadness. Sometimes there's like some grief or loss that the person never really allowed themselves to feel. And so they keep that down there. And then finally, the emotional pain of past victimization. So the mind wants to avoid these emotions so much, and it fears these emotions so much that it wants to protect you from them. And so I've worked with people in which I tell them, oh, that sounds like self-loathing. And they say something like, oh, I don't have self-loathing in there. But I tell them, well, what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're behaving is telling me that you do. The mind actually has effectively kept that person from ever knowing that they have this core root emotion of self-loathing. Why? Because the body can go into self-destruct mode if it doesn't know what to do. Self-loathing. Oh, I don't deserve to be here. I'm such a terrible person. Life is meaningless. What's the use of going on? See what I mean? So what we do here is we resolve the core root emotions, not through the mind, not through your thinking. All the coaching that I do goes around the mind because it doesn't know what to do. My mind doesn't know what to do. But I found that when you just go right for the emotion, with the help of this meditative inner peace, you have to bring up the meditative inner peace that we're talking about. I did it in another video, and I'll do it a little bit later on. Another video that shows the meditative inner peace and how it can help you resolve these emotions. When you do it that way, it resolves these core emotions. When I say resolve, my experience, personally, and people that I've worked with, it doesn't come back. And just like a core root of a weed, you resolve these. So I help the person identify which one of these core emotions is at the core of the topic they brought to me. Sometimes it's more than one, but lots of times I just have them focus on one. And it kills the root. And then it magically, well, not magically, we understand how it works. It kills and dissolves the top. And so all of these surface level anxieties, fears, and all the behaviors that come with that because they're so uncomfortable, all these avoidant mechanisms, enabling, people pleasing, procrastination, avoiding things, staying in abusive relationships, having problems when you have confrontation and you shy away, they all start to dissolve over a quick period, generally, like a few days, weeks. And the other thing is it's abiding. The first time I ever did this with someone, it was 3 years ago, and the person says it never came back. And that inner peace that I found is still with me over 3.5 years later. Okay, so when I saw this and it happened to me as well, I just wanted to share this with as many people as I can. Why? Because we're suffering out there, and the mind doesn't know what to do. And so I felt, might as well get it out to the biggest platform there is to help people out. And so hopefully you've sat through all of this and you understand, so when you start to do the guided meditation that I'll be doing, you understand why I'm doing it that way. Okay? So thank you very much, and I'll make more videos.